So when I first moved all of my fish tanks into my shed about a year ago, not this big shed, I'm talking about my small shed. Let me show you. That studio, not that one. I was initially worried that I'd feel detached from it all and I wouldn't enjoy the space. But you know what, this is one of those instances where just going for it and actually doing it really has paid off. Every single morning that I come in, flick the lights on, which I've all got on an app now, so everything comes on at the same time, it's like boom. So I don't know if you noticed in that clip, but Timmy's tank's looking a little bit grimy. Now that's because it went through a big bout of cyanobacteria about a week ago. Oh, I hate doing that. Can't help it though. But I've treated it with this powdery stuff. You can get loads of these things online. They're not hard to find. And it's been a week later and it's all starting to like sort of break off and die. The bacteria's dead now. It's just a case of the filter taking it all out. I don't want to just do a massive water change and upset it all, but I'm going to be doing that soon. I just want to make sure that it's found its balance first, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, all you seem to do is make the problem worse. So what is the best thing about fish tanks? Well, for me, it's not the fish and it's not the tank, it's everything. I like making a miniature little world. I like to see that evolve. Alright, I don't do it as long as some people do. Some people have tanks that they run for years and years and years. Like, they don't change really a lot. It does evolve over time, don't get me wrong, but they don't like swap it out. I tend to create environments for maybe 6 months, and then I consider those environments complete, and then I like to start again and redo it. That for me is my part of the hobby. That's what I love doing the most, and I know it does aggravate some of you, but you know, that's what I like doing. You know, so there's something about setting up an environment initially with, like, you know, your planning, preparation. You got a blank tank and then you start to put in and building it as you saw it in your head. But you can't build it as you saw it in your head, because how you see it in your head is how it's going to progress maybe 2 or 3 months. And seeing that take place, that is where the fun is. You know, they say it's not the destination, it's the journey, and that is so massively true with fish tank evolution and enjoying the hobby. It's the process. It's so fun and so rewarding. It doesn't come without trials and tribulations, because there's many times when stuff goes wrong and it can really infuriate you. But if you stay with it, learn and pay attention to what is and isn't working. For your water's a big key element. And you know what, it's only actually now that I'm starting to realise how important the water plays a role in how well your plants are going to do. So I found that immersed grown plants, so most plants that we buy in a hobby are grown out of water with just the roots in the water, and then we put them on our tanks and then they have to adapt to our water. Now, immersed plants seem to do really well, in my experience, in soft water. They don't tend to just melt away and have to regrow through, which is what you kind of really need to do in hard water, which is why you see quite a lot of aquascapers just snipping their plants completely and sort of starting from scratch. Now, I don't have to do that. The weird thing is that the leaves that have grown immersed, even they don't melt away. They just sort of, they don't really grow that well, but they stay green. I don't know why that was funny. But yeah, my point is that, like, you need to play to the strengths of the water in your area, and don't just go, oh, my plants don't grow because of my water, and give up. Like, it tends to be that you just have to completely start again from that immersed plant. So it needs to melt away and it needs to come back, a bit like the phoenix coming from the flame And then once you start to build a collection of all these plants, you could take snippets and trimmings and place them in other tanks, and before you know it, you've just got a whole load to choose from that are already grown, submerged and ready to go in new tanks. So the ecosystem aquarium that I set up 2 months ago now is doing insanely well. I couldn't be happier with the results. I don't really do a lot to this aquarium at all. Like, it doesn't need any maintenance. All I do is water top ups. Now you're probably thinking, oh, that's the one for me, that's the aquarium for me. But I had to do quite a few things to get it to be balanced and, you know, be that way. Obviously, when I set this aquarium up, I had in mind that I wanted the plant health to be, that is the main focal point. I wanted just absolute perfect plant growth, and that is what I'm getting. I mean, you can just see flying out of the water like that, it's obviously doing very well. So you just set up the substrate layer perfectly, just so that you're just looking for some long-term success, because as you know, long-term for me is not that long-term. I mean, this one I'm probably going to keep going for a while though, to be fair, because it's in perfect balance now. It's been 2 months. I just want to kind of really see where I can go with it. I'm saying that now, don't hold me to that. So I've actually got some really sad news for you all. Tiny, the cat that you guys have seen feature in many of my videos over the last year or so, I had to take her into the vets to be put down today. Yeah, it's tough one, really tough. You could say it's just a cat, you know, but she's been part of our life for 14 years. I bought her as a little runt, you know, she was the runt of the litter, and that's what I wanted her the most. And she's had cat flu her whole life, so she's been a snotty cat her whole life, but she's reached that age now where it's not possible for her own body to fight that cat flu that comes all the time. Like, she gets it, it goes, she gets it, it goes. So I had to take her to the vet today because she had full of pneumonia, and the right thing to do was to have her put down. And you know, my eyes probably look a bit puffy because I've just been crying my eyes out with my little boy, but told Jacob, who's 5, I just picked him up from school and let him know, and I didn't really think he was going to understand that well, but he really did, and he burst into tears. And I said to him, you know, she's sleeping now, she's not well, and she was hurting, so now she's sleeping, she's not hurting anymore. And that's when he said, okay, that's good, but when she wakes up, she come home. And then I had to explain, it's like Mufasa on Lion King, she's not going to wake up. And that's when he really broke down then. So 5 years old, that's a lot of compassion, I guess, for a 5-year-old. Is that, I don't know, been condoning him quite nicely though, and he gets it now, and he's getting a bit better with it and understanding it a bit more. So first experience with death really in his own life. So yeah, it was horrible, but necessary to tell him the truth. I think even at the age of 5, they need to know these things. And it's always horrible, but you know, it was the right thing to do. Hey, but you know what, guys, I don't want to end things with you guys on a negative note, so let me show you some of the things we got coming up very, very soon. So I'm sure you guys have already seen this bad boy in the backdrop of some of the video so far, and it's going really, really well, progressing nicely. I've got loads of plants in. There's a full build video coming for this at the weekend, hopefully, providing I can finish by then. At the end of the day, it is Thursday already, but I don't want to rush it. If it's not ready, I won't release it, but it should be ready. It's just the hard stuff is already done, and look at how cool it's looking. Look, some really nice plants going on, which I don't know the names of, but yeah, a nice front area for a few fish. I don't want to go crazy with the fish, it's just more for decoration. It's going to be like a really humid and hot environment, so therefore I'm thinking some of my prized guppies, some of the best guppies I can put in here, and maybe get some breeding going on out of the absolute best. And then guess what, it was ages ago now that I actually stripped this down. Maybe I jumped the gun and did that a bit early, but I have received a parcel from Aquarium Gardens, and we have got wood. So Also a bit of mixed emotions in the video. Obviously something sad has happened, but there's so much more to come, so much cool stuff I'm going to be creating, and you know, plenty of stuff for you to be able to enjoy in future. So hopefully you've already hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.